gentlemen, okay, so Teep, I casted the match last night, actually, which is Optic versus Splice. Going in, their stats were absurd. Splice really did nothing to slow this team down. Who's going to be able to, if anyone?
They're looking damn good, to be honest with you, Maven. And Panda's coming into this one. Yes, they're going to have some momentum from that open bracket, but, you know, you just saw those Hardpoint stats.
Yeah.
Top Optics in 4 of the top 10.
Yeah.
And you have to note on Scump and Formal's Hardpoint time as well. Chance touched on the defense from Formal, but the time from these two guys, you really expect the two players in Crim and Karma to be picking up those time. But it's a little bit opposite this time around.
90 seconds, yeah. I think we saw for Formal. Now, I had the chance, I was wondering about, kind of Panda's chances in this one. Is obviously it's going to be a difficult match. And I was talking to Slacked and Octane in the back, just trying to get some, one of the things is Caster like to talk to the players, get outside opinions from other teams on the guys. And they said they think they are the best search and destroy team when you're talking about amateur team.
Okay.
The way they've been, they were talking about how they smoked United 6-0 in a 2K. They beat Luminosity 6-1 in a search and destroy. He's like, I couldn't put my finger on what they were doing right, but they were crushing teams in search. That game 2 is likely where they have to get it done.
From my experience as a player as well, it is these sort of less known teams that can surprise you a bit when it comes to those search and destroy. Some different strategies going on. We saw, however, Cloud9 did not do too well yesterday. They implemented some different strategies on Scorch, especially when it comes to smoking using thermal AR. So there are things you can do against these top tier pro teams that they're not going to expect for sure. Are we going to see that here? I'm not sure, but if there is a map that Panda could take, it's got to be search and destroy, right? I do not think they have a chance in the respawn.
Yeah, and this match, okay, maybe not as important for Optic as they're sitting atop at 3-0, but it is when you talk about Panda, because they have a chance to disrupt here, and you can say that for just about any of the pools. Yes, Splice is sitting at 2-1, but Panda can come in here. They can get some wins, especially the matchup with Splice is going to be very, very important, but maybe they have a chance to disrupt. I know thinking back to Black Ops 3 with this particular organization, I know a very different roster. I think Fastball, the one consistency kind of throughout, but they shocked people. They were the up-and-comers last year. I hadn't really heard of the organization. They start coming on our radar pretty much throughout Black Ops 3, and now they seem to be just contenders to stay, that you're going to see flirting with that top 16, top 24 area. I know when you're talking about the recent 2Ks, I believe in the past 3, they've had 2 top 8s, so that's really, really strong, and I know people like to say onliners, blah, 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 but after seeing how E United kicked off day 1, it's kind of, I think people are starting to realize, usually if you do well online, that's going to carry over to LAN in some capacity.
Yeah, for sure. E United obviously playing absolutely dominant online, so not sure what to expect from Panda coming into this pool. It is a tough one. It seems like Optic and Splice really have those top 1 and 2 spots locked down, but you can make some noise here. They should anyway, yes.
But Panda, I mean, if you sneak a win here, if you're able to take out Optic Gaming, all of a sudden, if you're Splice, you're looking over your shoulder, right, and you're wondering what is possibly to come. But you'll see the shots of both squads here as we're getting locked in. In Optic, I mean, it's kind of tough to even pinpoint who was your maybe MVP of day 1, who was your all-star, because the stats were consistently. I know I was highlighting before Splice. Formal kind of stood out to me because he had like a 1-5 in Respawn, 1-3 in S&D. But now that the Splice series has gone underway, they're all just sitting pretty. I mean, they're pretty much similar across the board.
Yeah, and that's something that was, I guess, is a little bit different compared to Vegas. Scump didn't have the best of tournaments. We gave him some flack at Vegas, but obviously
he'll admit that too.
Yeah, exactly. He was not happy with his performance, to say the least. So they've obviously put in the work. They put in a lot of practice. Been watching a lot of their streams, especially throughout the 2Ks and stuff. So seems like they have that Optic confidence back, which is cool to see. One thing I have to note on, though, is looking back at Vegas, the open bracket team that came into their pool and wiped the floor with them was E6 at the time. Yes, different meta. The OSA came into play and really caught Optic off guard, but it was that open bracket team that came through and stormed the pool. It's possible.
Well, I'm kind of curious. I can't remember who said it. I want to say it was... God, it was one of the amateur teams, but they were speaking, I believe, with Jack, and they had this line saying they used to be this. You looked at them as like this final boss, right? They were this formidable opponent,
right? But
you saw now they're vulnerable. You saw you could beat them. Like I almost want to compare it to like kind of Tiger Woods in his prime, where he would get into there's 1 or 2 people in contention maybe down the stretch, the final couple holes. But if you knew you were playing against Tiger, like you'd see these guys cripple, and Tiger's always clutched. They always came up big. But now that you've seen like Optic look a little bit vulnerable over the past 6 months without getting a victory, maybe you're opening the door for some of these other teams to make runs against Optic Gaming. But speaking of Optic, let's check out this video of Scump.
Without question, the biggest player on the planet.
Now it's Scump in the 1 versus 2. Fletcher coming in from Rock. Gets 1. Second player is there. Scump gets both. The 3-0 sweep. He always does it. Knows there's a second player. Here's the vine step. Scump kills all three. When he is on point, Optic Gaming are a completely different team. The king has come to life. Scump wipes out all of FaZe.
Scumpy's there, and there it is. Optic Gaming has done it. Scump is the game. He has that raw talent, that ability where he can go off and take over a game. If he has a good run here in Infinite Warfare, he could go down as the greatest Call of Duty player of all time.
Scump is an extremely aggressive submachine gun player. The thing that makes Scump so special with his play is he plays at such a fast pace. But when you really break it down and watch what he does, he's always pre-aimed in, which is a little bit more of a slower player's tactic, but he's always able to just snap on players, pick up those fast kills, makes Scump's gameplay so crazy to watch.
Scump has been one of the top Call of Duty players since he began his career, but it's no secret that the one thing he's missing is that elusive Call of Duty championship victory. The guy's basically won everything else. That is what his sights are on in Infinite Warfare. Can he do it? We'll have to find out.
And maybe this is the year the Green Wall can get it done, bring home that championship. You know, they're so used to basically winning everything up to that, at least over the past couple of years, and then sort of falling short. Maybe the slow start here this year, it'll get the gears turning, maybe turn them on try-hard mode a little bit earlier. I don't know.
Yeah, you got to think maybe it's just an overconfidence thing going into champion in the COD champs for each year. They've been the sort of heavy favorite going into both of them, just coming out a little bit short. So maybe this short start to the year, a bit of a reality check for them. They got to put in the time. They're not as top dogs as they were in the past, basically.
All right, well, they're getting through the rig draft now, and we'll be ready to hop into our hard point here for game one. It's going to be on Scorch. All right, let's talk a little bit about Scorch. Is this a map that you think, oh, okay, we have to say Hardpoint plays strongly in Optic's favor after seeing the stats? Yep. I mean, there's no way it doesn't, but is there something about this map that maybe Panda, something they could abuse, something you give them a chance in?
Optic's just been playing such a good team game, and that shows in their KDs. It's not like one player is completely taking over in the stat
I'm making
category.
you dig for something here, buddy.
It's really tough. I don't think Panda has much of a chance. Really, you have to go for, I guess, the quote-unquote money hills. Rotate very early for those ones to get the sort of easy setups. Second hard point especially is
Turbine.
Yeah, something that's a little bit easier for them to hold, because on those a bit more scrappy hills, Optic's going to get the better of you for sure.
You would think, and that's how it's going to start off. We kick it off on the bridge. That is scrappy. That's going to come down, just kind of keep your head on a swivel. Gunfight after gunfight, somewhere that you think Optic Gaming will surely excel. We'll keep an eye, though, on who's going to be able to get kind of the left side of your mini-map covered for the setup for Turbine there going into the second. Is that one where we'll see teams kind of lock down 40 to 60 seconds. You can really get a big swing in your favor. But, guys, we are 10 seconds out from hopping into our game one. Optic Gaming going against Panda. We'll see if Panda can make some noise here in Pool A.
Starting off here on the king himself, Scumpy. They need to start to get some momentum. They're trying to get into this bracket play later on in the day, and they want this championship here at Atlanta. We're starting off Saturday here. Some big gunfights going back and forth, but Forma with a double nade and the triple for him. Starting off early in this one for 3 early kills. Optic has control.
I mean, that's big, too, because he's the only one that survives, right? You see 3 go down for either team. It's just going to be Formal that remains. And the 3 streak going to be starting out nicely for him. But this is interesting, too, because you got to think, if you had such a nice day one, maybe you come out a little bit overconfident. You come out with a slow start here. That's the last thing you want if you're Optic. You need to come in, just destroy your opponent, keep the rhythm going that you've had. And so far, it's starting out very nicely there. It's a 5-0 start for Formal before he ultimately drops. And when you're taking a look at the scoreboard, it's nothing but green.
Yeah, it looks like Fastball going to be trying to run in with that E-Red right there. Surprisingly, Scump has not decided to pull that out at all throughout the entire tournament, but I guess he's just more comfortable with that K-bar a little bit more. Gives you that advantage at all sorts of ranges.
I talked to him about it yesterday, actually. He came out and kind of hung out in the green room with the casters for a little bit, and yeah, he said he's just not comfortable with it. He likes the K-bar more. It's all it came down to, and it shocks me because now that the E-Rad's definitely more relevant in the current meta, you keep waiting for the best SMG player of all time to pull it out, but hey, he's been rocking it with the K-bar, and we'll see if he can continue to do it, but it has to be eyes now back on Formal as he started out 7-1. We'll see if he can keep the rhythm going. A tough gunfight there to pick one off. Scump there will find the final kill, as this is the huge one. This is Turbine. This is where you want to get set up, and now look at it. Optic going to be spawning out. You see yellow all on the left side of the map. This is where they can pull the comeback, and we may very well see a lead change.
Yeah, it was sort of a weird setup for Optic there. Had 2 players set up towards that laboratory area, up towards that top hallway, but it didn't matter for Panda. They grouped up, went through the bottom and were able to break. And the Turbine Hills, where I said they need to get the majority of their time if they have a chance in this one, they do a good job of it. The score should very slightly swing into their favor right now, but now I think it's where it's going to get difficult. Optic's one of the best teams at snowballing points in Hardpoint. They need to make sure, or Panda needs to make sure, that they don't let this get out of hand too quickly.
Well, Panda's trying to make sure that doesn't happen through fastball. He picked up a couple in a row there, sitting at 7 and 6, but all of a sudden you see it's just Pimby, the lone man, trying to rotate across Skybridge, and Karma not allowing it there as he locks it down. And as we sit in hangar, it is all going to be Greenwall. Crim6 drops, but he was kind of trying to push out the spawns there. His death not going to be huge, but now as they begin to throw away a few lives, it's all going to be on Formal and Crim6 inside to try and hold this off.
Rommel has a very tough situation. Fastball able to take him out, and what a good pinch from Panda. They took their time to go around the back, and Karma actually made a pretty huge mistake there, in my opinion. He was up towards that middle alley. You saw him get taken out towards the middle of the map. He needs to focus on the back first to retain those back spawns.
And you can see the back spawn still coming in for Panda, but with 15 seconds left, it looked like Optic has gotten the break. This one ends up being pretty back and forth, really 3 different periods of control, as we're going to end up rotating out to our 4th hard point. You can see the 2 green arrows, now 3rd popping on the bottom of the mini-map. They're going to be set up very nicely for drill. Let's see if they can hold it a little bit longer than these last 2 hard points.
Yeah, although I thought Panda played that hill a bit better, Optic able to get most of that time. The Scarabs are coming out to push up those lanes for Optic Gaming. I think they had 2 in their arsenal to begin with. Froma gets traded out towards this back blue area, and it seems like another pinch coming in. The Optic players are forced out of the hill again. Farfeezy with a huge 2. Crim trying to do his best to buy time for his teammates, but there it is again. The pinch is coming in from Panda. They're playing these breaks so much better.
Yeah.
There's 30 seconds left, but the problem is now is winning these gunfights to hold all the time.
Well, really, it's been Optic with the early rotations, the early setup, and then looking at that 20 or 30 second mark into the hard point is where Panda's been able to find the breaks. It's just been whether or not they can hold off that remainder of the time. And in a couple of these they haven't. And that's where you see the separation really creating this 20-point lead for Optic, which they basically opened the game with on that first bridge hardpoint, which we're going to get to in another 10 seconds or so. But Scump now 75 off of his bombardment. He's 14 and 9 on a 5 streak. We'll see if he'll be able to close this out here, as he just has to find one more. Waiting to play it patiently. That should be it, but that's the errata fastball, shutting down the full streak from Scump.
Able to get 2 of those 4 streaks, though, so should be able to put those to use. Probably going to wait them for a little bit later on in the game. Pemby doing a great job of locking down this hill. Taking a quick look at that scoreboard in the top right, Scump and Formal, the 2 names you're used to seeing on the top of the slaying category for these guys on Optic, just doing absolute work right now, and it's why they have a slight lead. Panda is playing this better than I expected, though. After the first rotation, and if you told me that Panda's going to be within 10 points, I probably wouldn't believe it.
Well, I'm curious on your opinion here, former professional player. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. When you look at it right now, is this something Panda's doing right, or can you put it on Karma a bit right now? Because one of the stats that stood out the biggest for them was the fact that they all, were between like a 1-2 and 1-5 kind of in KD for Hardpoint. He starts out a little bit slow. Yeah, of course, now he's on a 3 streak mid-conversation, but he was 4 and 13 just a minute ago. He's just turning it on.
Interesting to look at already as well. He only has 21 confrontations in this one, so playing very, very slow. Seems like he's just trying to play these corners and just put himself in advantageous situations, but sometimes you just need to amp up the pressure with your teammates. So it might be holding them back a bit, but I think it's more due to the setup pinches that Panda is doing to break. But Formal answers back again. Pinch all you want, you get mown down.
And he might have been the MVP yesterday. Just if you looked at it statistically, the man played out of his mind. Triples like that to open the game and also open the Turbine hardpoint will be big, but let's see if they can retain control. Formal already back in the action, able to pick up fastball. He's set up nicely here. He has overdrive and a Scarab to work with. Pushes the edge. That's Pemby getting the break, but this has been a much more controlled hold for Optic because, well, actually, they broke it at, the 30-second mark or so last time. Now it's about the 20-second mark, so they still extend the lead a bit, but Panda at least going to get the final 20 or so.
Optic just doing a very good job of not letting Panda get all the time. They get in and contest for the majority of the hill, so Optic, again, just barely edging out a lead each time one of these hard points pops. Seems like Panda has the better spawns. They're flooding up towards hallway right now. Optic setting up a pinch at the back, and it's all up to fastball at this point, but this is where the ERAT is going to completely take over. Trade's going down again, and this is where where Karma sort of messed up on that other rotation, right? He was pushed out so far, whereas Fastball was just posted up at that back door, able to trade those kills in.
And this has been an impressive rotation from Panda, because not only did they get the scrap time, but they got the, opening 15 to 20 seconds here on the rotation, but due to Karma's break, it is now going to be Optic Gaming set up at back hammer. The FTL jump comes through, trying to locate him in the corner, able to get it, but one more there to trade it out. Thankfully, he's got his trusty teammates in behind, and that's going to be all 4 down there for Panda. But despite that, only trailing by 20 or so points. Still plenty of time left to go in the game. And they've done a good job of just keeping themselves in fighting distance, right? Never have been out of this. It's all going to come down to the clutch in the closing moments of this one.
So Panda going to get the last 10 seconds or so of this scrap. They got an unfortunate split spawn there on the last half of that hill, so not much they could really do. We're going back over towards Drill, though. They seem to have initial control last time. It seems like Fastball has his payload ability to work with as well. Formal has the Scarab to work with, so back and forth battles once again. Seems like Panda gets the initial 3 kills. There they go. They should be able to take the lead. 45 seconds left here on Drill, and realistically, with how far Optic is spawning out, you can see that on your minimap right now. It should be an easy 10 to 15 seconds before the contest even comes in. It
really should. Pemby, though, he was on a 5 streak. He was really a big part of why they were able to break in there. As he drops, we'll see if they can retain control. Coming back in with Camo is going to be Fastball. Finds one around the edge, though. Can't connect with the hip fire there from the ERAB, but Prophet able to back him up with the 2-piece before Karma will shut it down. But just like that, you see the time going in Panda's favor. They got a 15-point edge. They're looking to shut down Optic. And you got to think, man, like I heard quoted, they're saying they're a little bit more vulnerable now. People think they can beat Optic. They don't see them as that invincible final boss anymore.
I believe Scump was 15-7. Look at his score now, 18-20. The last couple of hard points have not been very nice to him. The rotation back towards middle is going to happen again. You see Panda stacking up 3 on that left back alley, trying to get those gunfights in towards middle. One player is in a 1v2 right now. Formal has some help, and he's just lighting up the scoreboard single-handedly, sort of carrying Optic in the slaying category right now. 32 and 18 for him, and getting a lot of time. You see him get so many defends, an average of 5 per hard point, doing it once again.
He's the only one positive right now. He's plus 13. Everybody else in Optic Gaming is negative, trying to put the team on his back in the slaying department now. But this is going to come down to the stretch. We should see another lead change momentarily here as Panda has bridge lockdown. Pemby trying to hit this wall run over the lava pits, try and flank in behind, works brilliantly, and there he's going to line up Crim 6. There's one more in front, Pemby finding 2. He's got Centurion to work with. He's got the Scarab as well. And how many lead changes are we going to have in this? Like, if they take it over yet again, this has got to be our 5th or 6th. And now for Turbine, you're going to have this set up with Centurion. You've got a good chance to pick up a lot of points here. Yeah, I mean, you can close out the game, really.
They should win this for sure. The Scarab going out to scout out information, able to pop 1 should slow them down for just a bit at that right alley. You see one player going in that top lab area, though, but all players wiped out.
That was Camo.
Formal, the last player alive, he's taken out as well. So another 4 dead. Panda taking a very good lead here in the last hill, which they should be able to hold it. Optic trying to do their best to win these gunfights, but no, Fastball is pushing out, has something to say about it, and Scump's the last one alive. Can he win this gunfight? Doesn't look like it's going to happen. No, he does. They break in somehow. Panda cannot let that happen.
Wow.
Optic's going to get this last 30.
It's the reactive armor. They had to use everything, basically. Your camo, your reactive. Try to get in past that Centurion. He goes up over the top and is able to make the play, and it's going to keep them alive. 7-point game coming down to the wire. Karma's going to fall. Formal tries to back it up, able to find 1, but not the second. This one has been a very hotly contested hardpoint. I don't think what either of us expected to kick off day 2.
Man, payload abilities coming in. Optic's just going to give up that scrap time. 5 seconds going to get them up to about 244. Optic cannot get broke 1 time, but already coming in for Feezy. And Pemby Fastball answers in with the trade. Karma's going to be the last one alive to try and hold this down. He's got to get it now. No, he doesn't. Panda takes map 1. What?
I don't know, man. And we know how good they can be in S&D talking to the other pro players. So this all of a sudden became a very, very interesting series. The Green Wall shocked in game 1. And I know, guys, again, we understand this does not mean a lot for Optic, right? They're in good position to take the group. Especially with the win over Splice, if that comes down to some sort of head-to-head, if Splice gets the win, and they're both sitting at 3-1. But this is huge for Panda because they can disrupt here. It becomes scary for Splice, really.
Realistically, Panda would probably be fighting for at least the number 2 spot in the group.
Yeah.
Coming down to these head-to-head situations.
I love that. I love that. There's an actual Panda here.
You got to think, though, if they come out and beat Optic in their first game in pool, they were going to be confident enough to maybe win all the games. Look at that Panda.
I love that. Oh, well,
I'm hyped.
I don't think Damon loves it, but Karma there trying to get set up here for the game 2. And again, we mentioned it a couple times, but you heard multiple players talking about the fact that they are maybe the best AM team in Search and Destroy when you're talking about their performances in 2Ks. Now, I know that Optic has been much better in Search here this year, but last year, it was the bane of their existence.
100%.
Search, what was it? They won like 2 at champs, something like that. Yeah. Like it was struggle city. But you're seeing some of the highlights here. I think the thing that stands out to me most from the Optic side is where they excel is their slang, right? All of them, and it was really just the formal party for the most part. Everyone else kind of ended the game negative.
They slowed down pretty heavily throughout the middle of the second rotations of Hills, to be honest. And what Panda did a little bit better, especially on that turbine, that second hard point we saw, is pushing out, but playing safe towards that middle map. And I think that's where the ERAD came into play pretty well for fastball. Yeah. You can play those corners, you can catch someone off guard. He was able to do it multiple times. Yes, you were only able to pick up maybe like 1, possibly 2 kills, but that forces the spawn out so darn far. Optic could not contest.
How many times did we see him, let's say pushed out 20, 30 yards from the hard point, just waiting in a close corner, gets that kill with the E-Ride. Like you said, that delays the ability to have a 4-man push from Optic for like another 20 seconds because they're spawning out so far. It was brilliant to see them get that done, in the E-Ride definitely making itself known there in the game 1. But now it's going to be down to Search and Destroy here, and boy, we've got ourselves a series team.
I don't know how to call this one anymore. I would have bet a lot of money on Optic taking a Scorch Hardpoint versus Panda, but man, that was a damn good map. They played that well. The pinches, they took their time. They looked like a very experienced team there, and that's something to say. Obviously, the online practice that they've been getting in these 2Ks is paying off for them for sure. They've taken their time. They're setting up those pinches, waiting on that intro gunfight, and then just colliding from all sides.
Well, that was what was impressive, right? Because you saw, just thinking back to the very beginning of the game, at least the first 3 or 4 hard points, you saw Optic rotate early, pretty much have a 3 to 4 man setup, ready to go, ready to lock it down. And a lot of times where you'll see, maybe an amateur team or a team that not really on the slaying level of Optic, it looks like a team headbutting a wall, right? They're bashing into it over and over again. You're just feeding streaks to Optic. You see those 3, 4, 5 streaks are popping up for basically their entire team. They didn't do that. They waited for all 4 up. They slowly just pinched in. Well, not really slowly. Once they hit it, they hit it. But you saw it happen time and time again. It was very, very well done. And now we're going to see how they carry that momentum over to Search and Destroy.
And like you said before this one, people have been calling Panda a very, very good Search and Destroy team. So Optic needs to be careful in this one. We're going to be going over towards Crusher. So I don't know. I'm not sure if the slow style is going to favor either side in this one, but I think Panda needs to play an aggressive style on offense, especially get these bombs down very quickly. Optics on the back foot now. Now's the time you take advantage of it.
And Crusher, I'll tell you what, it was one of my favorite S&D maps to kick the game off, and after watching London, which had some of our craziest, like Game 5, Round 10, 11s, Crusher has become my favorite Search and Destroy map. I absolutely love it. You'll see where the sites here are located as we are getting ready to hop into Game 2. If you're a fan and just joining us, welcome. It's the CWL Atlanta Open. We are finalizing pool play here today as our 4 teams from Open Bracket have joined the 4 teams that earned their way there. And God, this has been an interesting start. I thought Pool A was going to be, I guess, the scariest one, the most interesting throughout the day. But if they take this off of Optic, all of a sudden this pool becomes a whole hell of a lot more interesting.
I'd be a little bit scared if I'm Splice, if Panda's able to take this one. Starting off with Formal, though, barely misses that headshot with that sniper, but quick scope on it for BZ. Finds the second, but can't hit the shot. Crim's there to help him out a bit, though. Formal playing this smart, just getting out of dodge to make sure he stays alive. Crim picks up 2, but Pemby picks up 3 towards the middle of the map. Formal can luckily get behind him, and oh my gosh. That was quick 3 kills.
I was just about to say, what a good round for Optic as they destroy, and then Pemby just annihilates everyone mid-map, and it's a scary position too because you have just the pistol for Formal, but thankfully he finds, a half-health player around the corner facing the opposite direction, so he gets a little bit fortunate there. And yeah, I mean, this should be obvious, but if Panda comes in and wins every single match, they would be taking first in the pool, which if they beat Optic, you got to think it's possible.
Most definitely. Formal starting off a bit hot with that sniper. Gets the first one on the fastball again. Tries to take his time with the second, trying to find he gets the second with the Oni pistol right there. Helps out his teammate. Can he get the third? The ace again. That's a pistol.
I
don't know if he got the last kill, but It looked like he did.
So that'd be 6 total if he picked up the last one.
Nah, Scump stole.
All right, well, Formal was on another level in the hard point. You saw, I mean, I know at one point we looked at he's like 32 and 20, the rest of the team negative. Okay, he's starting out all right here. He wants to make his presence known. Hitting the shots, man, yeah, he's having a big game.
Unbelievable stuff. Just knowing when to back down if he misses a snipe, but 5 kills to his name already. Just gonna go with the same strategy again. Don't expect Panda to peek out towards middle because the man's not missing.
You know, mid lane is now a ghost town. You see tumbleweeds rolling across. There's nobody wants to hit that. You saw the number 8 on the minimap. I believe Prophet was trying to peek it from that mid U, but he scared him so much that they felt the need to play inside. You know, don't want to get caught crossing, making any plays at mid. You've now got a free, basically, bomb plant there. Now on the B side, and you're going to be able to get set up nicely. The question is, do they hit and catch him planting? But Crimsix there to back it up. I'm going to find 2, but it's Profizi answering back with 2 of his own. Now quickly a 2v2. Formal has the bomb.
Heads up play to get those trades in. He catches the camera on the Formal again. Now a 1 versus 2 situation for Karma, trying to clutch it though. But no, can't do it. Profizi gets the last.
Profizi has a huge round. Krim opens with the first 2. You think it's going to be over. Profizi flies in, finds the next couple, closes things out. He's able to snap onto Karma. Man.
These rounds are fast, man.
Yeah, have we gone more than 15, 20 seconds into a round at this point? Doesn't feel like it.
That's exactly how you do a retake at B, though. Send all players through that hallway, catch the 1 player, which was Krim. Yes, Krim picked up those first 2 kills, but as long as he can get the bomb planter, that's the main goal. Profizi gets out with his life and able to get that last clutch. So good round to bounce back.
And if there's any hesitation from them to hit there, Scump probably gets the plant down, and you know he has gun up, and that goes very, very differently. But here we go. Profizi keeps the hot hand, but 2 kills quickly come back. A 2v2 here early. Crimsix, Scump going up against Pemby and Prophet. It's a bloodbath by the B site. You can see where the bomb ends up now as they're going to have to wrap around.
Things are going to slow down a bit as both teams cycling around the map, trying to figure out what the setup is going to be. They have the bomb to worry about, though. Doesn't seem like Optic knew that the bomb was dropped towards that B side. So a bit of an advantage here, in my opinion, for Panda.
Yeah, and they should realize that they're probably circling around. Looks like they kind of want to flank the flank maybe here. Now they're going to go back, get this down at B. Now this is all going to be timing, because if they can get the timing here while they're actually trying to plant the bomb, it's going to be a 2v1, but they're going to push it out together. He has E-Rad in hand, not able to find it. 1v1. It's going to be Scump going up against Pemby, and we'll have to see the final kill cam here to actually see who came up in that one. But with the fist bumps around, it looks like it is the side of Panda getting it done.
Actually, the Scump.
Oh, it is Scump. Never mind. Okay.
He got the corner around Pemby. Didn't have his gun up at the time, so good stuff from Scump to get that trade over. Optic taking a 3-1 lead in this one, and I love how both these teams are playing these rounds, grouping up together and taking those gunfights. I think Panda should have maybe played it a bit more patient. Fastball can't get caught that early over towards that B side, especially on offense, but you know, there's 2 ways to play B. You play that retake style that we saw from Panda, or you hit it like Optic to make sure they do not get that bomb down at all.
Looks like we might have another bloodbath at B. Coming forward, and it's 2 kills early, but Crimsix answers back. Remember, this became a 2v2 really fast last time, and here we go. Yet again, 2v2 quickly as Crim's able to find 2, and he wants to keep fighting here, but now Pemby answers it. 1v2 for Formal. Finds 1, only 6 bullets in the clip, trying to get away. He's getting pushed. 1 around the edge, can't gun him. Nice job chasing him down. Gets caught mid-reload.
Just not letting these rounds drag on at all, and if I'm Panda, that's exactly how I want to play. You know how good Optic is in these 1 versus 1 situations. Yes, Scump was able to get the better end of the last one, but Formal was a bit weak. His teammate called it out. You got to pressure him right away, so that's good work there.
And that's why you like the kind of the meta we have now with the ERAD and the MV4, because that's also a situation where Formal didn't have a chance. Even if he was gun up pre-aiming that corner, he's probably going to get melted. He's weak. It's an ERAD, not going to be easy to deal with. But now let's see what the offensive side can do here for Panda as they're trailing by a round.
Going over towards this B side again. Karma with that NV4 towards that back right rock gets the first blood. Really expecting to try and lay this bomb down and back up, but Optic got that first blood. They're playing a smart fastball. Jumps off the map or something. A Scarab coming in as well, and the trade's coming in. I'm not sure what happened with fastball right there, but he just died out of the blue.
Yeah, I think he took a dive off. Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to see that again, where he actually went. If he was trying to dodge some shots, maybe, and just took it off the edge.
You think he got, like, jammered and he fell and he shot? I don't even know what happened there.
All right, well, we'll see if they're able to bring it back now, trailing by 2 rounds. Offense going to be going back to Optic Gaming. They have Centurion, to work with. You can see the split on the defensive side. I mean, it's going to be stacked heavily towards A and really just one watching mid-map. So this is going to be similar to a couple rounds ago where it was wide open. They try to get the bomb down, but they hit it at the perfect time that they catch Scump while he's planting. Let's see if that happens again. This time Crim plays a little bit more forward. He's going to be able to get the call out. Scump, I believe, trying to get this bomb down.
Only difference this time is Crim has this Centurion to place down if he decides to, but nope, Panda decides to hit it very quickly. Profik opens up with two, Heavy with the third, and they hit that timing just perfect. You need to do it before the bomb goes down or right as it happens. Karma stuck in the 1 versus 4 now. Should be dead in a second, and there it is.
Perfect.
Great retake, man.
Yep, and that's just, again, you get caught in a situation where you have basically two players watching that inside lane, but I mean one, basically, because one's planting, right? You catch him while he's planting again, he's dead before he even gets to get gun up.
I don't get it, to be quite honest. Crim got that Centurion very early. I don't know if Panda would really expect that. Why not just place that down towards B, get the bomb down very quickly, and just sort of play back? You have that payload to work with.
Place it, maybe you have to put like the inside lane, kind of,
exactly.
So can't
slow him down at least a little bit, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't get it.
Well, he still got it to hold on to at least, and now we'll see. We've got FTL jump available for Profit here. A similar defensive stack from Optic, so they'll play A, and they'll be looking over to rotate quickly, which is what you see happen in a lot of these rounds on Crusher. It's like a slow build and then an explosion here for the action. So, okay, that's basically exactly what you were asking Crim to do. They're going to go ahead and do it this round. Let's see how it works out.
And the Scarab as well gets taken out right away. A bit unfortunate for him as those lethal grenades came in and destroyed it, but the retake attempt going to be coming in for Optic. Profeezy picks up the first at that hallway. Challenges again with his teammate. A great call out. They're trying to wipe out Optic instantly.
He doesn't have enough bullets.
And there it is. 4-4, even round count now. And that's exactly what I wanted to see from Optic in that previous round. They did it.
Yeah, did it end up being effective? Like, no one really tried to hit that early, but if they did,
it's a precautionary thing.
So if they noticed it, though, forced them outside, and had it forced them outside, that's exactly where Crim was looking on the previous round there on offense. So it works out nicely. They brought it back to 4-4, and now Optic looking a little bit nervous.
What a great round. Looks like Fastball called out that he was pushing. He is 2-8, but it's plays like that that open the door for your teammates to get kills. And Profeezy at that B hallway has been absolutely dominant, to be honest.
Well, the final player we were on with was basically bait, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he got the 1 kill, he gets an assist, but then just bullets everywhere. But they're focused on him, allows teammates to get the shots in from behind. Now, a similar push to what we've seen. This is going to come down to timing. You got to think if you're Crim6 here, you think about a similar play. Maybe getting this down. You also have camo for Karma. Okay, you see one used. That's going to be Scump. Karma down.
Oh my God.
Down. Profeezy annihilating everyone, plus his teammates. But Formal's in on the flank. He does have one in the corner. He has overdrive to work with this. He's going to wrap around the edge. He's able to find the second. No shots, just
Profeezy
a little bit off. And that is the 5th round and 4 in a row for Profeezy. 12-6. He's not scared to be playing out.
He got 5 kills that round, one on his teammate.
One of those elusive 5-kill rounds.
That B hallway, he's a master of it. He hits the timing every single time, picks up the first player and the second. Just great plays from him.
Yeah, we saw, it's the 3rd time we've probably seen him do that, just hit it and find the first couple of kills. Well, I think Crim got 2 the first time on offense, but then he answered back with 2 of his own. It's been sick stuff from Profeezy. Can they close it out here? Let's take a look. What do we have to work with? That was an overdrive, I guess, from Formal. He used that to get 4. It's not going to really matter.
They should have this, man. They should have this. Optic has no idea.
And I like the mix-up, right? They haven't hit it at all. It's been so B-heavy. They haven't hit it whatsoever. Fastball did find at least 1 kill. How do you see this playing out?
I mean, with this amount of time left, Karma's taking shots right there. He pops the camo, tries to catch these players. Oh, can he get 2? Yes, he does at the top hallway. Scump picks up the 3rd, and I was so scared for Karma there for a second. He took a lot of shots in that sort of U area.
Yeah.
But man, stays alive. Sneaky Karma play, goes up the stairs, finds the 2 players in the back.
Round 11, baby. Woo! And ladies and gentlemen, this is important because if Panda can steal this series off of Optic Gaming, and this match specifically would be a 2-0 advantage in that, this shakes things up immensely because Panda has an opportunity to take 2nd in the group, to take 1st in the group, depending on how their matches go. You're scared if you're a Splice fan. You're scared if you're an Optic fan. This is interesting stuff for day 2 to kick things off for the CWL Atlanta Open. And now this is it. It's going to be kicked off with round 11 here. You've got Scump with the reactive armor. He's going to be your entry player that can likely make a play.
Look at Panda, man.
And there's already a quick flank. Fastball in behind. Oh, God. It's a feast. It's a feast. There's 1. There's a 2nd in front. There's a 3rd to his right, but he's able to clean it up. Now going to be just Crim and Scump trying to make the plays. 2 versus 2. What a flank that was. You got to back down, Scump. Already tagged up. 60 seconds to work in the round.
Scump realized that flank was coming in, had to pop that reactive armor. He gets the Scarab, but man, he's taking a lot of shots right now. 2 versus 2 situation for Pemby and Prophet versus Crimsix and Scump.
It looks like they want to push out there, try and get him on the rock. They will find the one. The second's up top, and they get it. Optic ties it up 1-1. What a huge round 11, which did not look good early.
Oh man, that flank was such a great call from Panda, but they really slowed it down as soon as the 2 players got taken out from behind. The reactive armor coming into play there for Scumpy. Whew, that was close. I thought Panda should have had that, man. When they planted over towards A, that should have been around to close it out. But Karma, with the plays with the camo, picks up the double in the bomb site and keeps them alive.
And that's the difference those payload abilities can make. Karma coming up clutch, and then Scump closing out the round. That was a good job by Scump. I think kind of staying alive there too. You know, he could have challenged that gunfight at the rock.
Right.
He wisely backed down as he didn't get the first shot in. You know, when you've got one of the best shots in the world, a lot of times, I mean, that's a confidence check, a heat check. You want to try and take that gunfight, but he stays alive, wait till they hit it together, and ultimately, Optic Gaming able to take round 11 and tie it up 1-1. Not how I thought our first 2 games would go at all.
Bit opposite.
But this has been great.
Panda should be up 2-0.
Yeah.
I think they overall played that better, a more decisive style of play. And you see in each of those rounds, the team that played it more aggressively actually got the better end of it. So group up, get those gunfights, get that team shot going down. Optic barely able to edge that one out, but man, some huge plays.
We got ourselves a series. It's going to be Uplink Throwback next. Guys, quick break. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Optic Gaming going up against Panda Gaming, and we have one hell of a first series, all tied up at 1-1. Game 2 came down to a crucial round 11. But let's talk about what you've liked so far about Panda. I think they've played them very, very tough in the first 2 games. And in some capacities, they've looked better from kind of a strategic standpoint.
100%. The team play is obviously on point for Panda, and that's why they're making these games so close. They are able to take that Hardpoint, which is pretty close. The S&D, they realistically should have taken it. The retakes were much better than Optic, in my opinion. But overall, we're tied up at a 1-1 overall, and that was a huge win for Optic, to be honest.
Yeah, it really, really was. I mean, going into an 0-2 hole, are they capable of battling back? Sure. But they want to close this out, make sure they have first in the group. They don't want to open an opportunity here for Panda maybe to sneak in and steal that away from them. So now, let's see what they can do to bounce back in the uplink. Now, remember, yesterday, the only map they dropped was an uplink to EG, I believe. So not to talk too much to that. It's one map that you lost, but maybe a little bit more vulnerable in that compared to other game modes. So we'll see if this is somewhere where Panda can maybe steal back the series.
A sort of common trait, especially throughout last year, is these sort of amateurish teams struggling on maps 3. The uplink and CTF only uplink now, so it's going to be interesting to see if, you know, we're going to see that sort of trend continue throughout this year, or if these teams have developed that style of play on uplink, especially to be a little bit more consistent against top teams.
All right, well, here we go. It's going to be uplink to kick off our game 3. Just checking out the minimap for the opening break. It's going to be Profizi, who has been a hero here so far in the series, finding one and tagging up a second. Playing high sense, yes, exactly. A bit of a spaz, but it's working until, well, I take it back.
The quick one going in. Scump gets the interception, though. Man, they tried to get that quick one up towards that underpass area, but Scump was on top of it, spawned under his portal, and now the pressure coming in on this right side from Optic Gaming. Pemby and Profizi answering back, though. The trades going down very quickly. A high-intensity game. All these games have been extremely fast between these two.
To say from a possession standpoint, or well, more of a map control standpoint, it's definitely favoring Optic a bit here. Karma, they're finding 2 nice shots at the MB4. There's one inside a bowling. You hear all the shots going down around him. He can't get to the edge before he ends up dropped. But it's only Pemby up now. And once again, you've got the base cleared, but no drone with you to put points on the board.
Optic just taking a tad bit too long to pick up that drone. It resets towards middle again. I really thought they were going to be able to get points, but now a heads-up play. Karma shuts it down right away, though. Can he pick up the third? Fastball trying to open up this lane. The drone carrier gets the beat down onto Scump over towards this track side, so that's actually a huge kill. Scump was probably going to be able to get that kill and take it up towards middle on that right side again, but keeps the play alive for Panda.
Keeps it alive for the time being, but the defense of Optic looks strong enough for now, but maybe not. His fastball, it does find 2, but Karma, only man up for Optic, has drone in hand. He's going to push this across courtyard and try to get set up in blue. We'll see if laying prone here is going to work for him. Was he spotted? It looks like he certainly has been. Can't survive for long. His Prophet gets it. That's now 3 down for Optic Gaming. Prim, really the only one with a chance here.
Quick 4 dead for Panda. They decide to go back to the drone reset. They need that drone to get some points. They're still set up on this right side, though. The pass going down. Profizi trying to open up this first kill towards Barn. Not able to do it. That's going to force them to take their time and go around the right, or maybe in towards Barn. Last player alive. Prophet picks up the double beatdown. Gets the... Oh, no.
Drops right before he gets the shot off. He was a bit tagged, and Karma gets just enough in there to close it out before the 1-point shot comes in. So, with 60 seconds left, still looking at just a 1-point lead here for Optic Gaming. They're looking to get control of mid-map yet again, and inching his way forward is going to be King Scump. Wants to get into their top window, finds a kill from behind eventually. One able to rotate him behind, though, to clean him up. They've got the drone down at bike path, but as Crim 6 falls, that's going to surely shut down any kind of push here for Optic Gaming.
Double beatdown. You don't see that too often in an uplink. very good plays. I think that's his 4th melee kill with the drone so far. Optic needs to play a little bit further away. Optic gets a quick 3 dead, only 1 player alive. Pemby trying to pick up a kill, but he's behind enemy lines now, putting his team in a very tough situation. Optic should be able to get some points here. The 1 does not get off though. Perfeezy shuts it down, picks up the 2nd. Formal trying to get the 2nd as well, gets the drone in his hand. Does not get it though out of his hand to get the 1. Scump answers back, gets the dunk in at right about halftime.
And that was actually Scump shooting Formal in the back is a big part of the reason he wasn't able to get through for the dunk, but he gets the other 2 kills that matter as well, and you close out the half with a 3-0 lead, and that's got to be frustrating for Panda because you play them tough for 4 minutes and 50 seconds basically. I know possession was predominantly for Optic Gaming. When you look at offensive opportunities, they had 10 or so. I mean, 2 times we saw just the ball not picked up in time, really. It ends up resetting, so you can't get off that late toss. But how do you feel about a 3-0 lead for Optic right now?
I think they're going to close it out here, to be honest with you, Maves. I felt a bit better about it for Panda at 1, but that last second dunk, it's really a momentum shifter when it comes to these uplink plays. And for this reason exactly, Optic's just so much better at these middle gunfights. A quick 4 dead for them should be a scoring opportunity very quickly. Panda's trying to wrap back towards Barn, but I don't think they're going to be able to stop the 1.
Well, it looks like I think Karma's the man with the drone trying to find an angle up over the top. It's a little bit short, not able to bury it. So the lead will stay at 3-0. So TP, if you're Panda, and you had the rough start, well, I mean, they played them close, but you had a bit of a rough start there, especially the closing of the first half. What do you think they can do differently here to try and get the edge in the second half?
I think they just need to slow it down at these middle map situations and pick up intros. They need to play their corners, find out where Optic is setting up, and be able to set up a sort of scoring opportunity like Optic has had many a time. They're working this drone up towards this left side, though. They make it into blue with the drone. The 1 should be going off, but no. Karma shuts it down, gets the 2nd with that NV4. Prophet in a tough situation should be able to get taken out soon, but playing his life.
Yeah, stayed alive for just a moment, kind of misses the jump on getting into that blue window. I think regardless, he was likely going to be dropped. So still you see Panda being shut out here in the uplink. It's going to be now a fight back to middle as the drone resets. You see all the yellow arrows on your minimap. They've got early position. They just need to win these gunfights. Prophet was able to win the first, but Krim and Scump coming in quickly to answer. So trying to flake around the back. This might be the opening they need. Could be points on the board. Looking for the dunk. Might get a little bit overzealous, but there it is. Dunk comes through. Now only trailing by 1. I love that. They only had 2 kills. Still 2 people up for Optic, but they hit it quick. There was no hesitation, and they got through for the dunk.
Great stuff from Perfeezy, leading the way for his drone carrier to get that dunk in, and now we have a game here. Every single game has been close in this series thus far. It's happening again. But good positioning from Panda right now. They have control of this top ticket area, and they're just being menaces at this point. Scump and Karma, you know, trying to stall the push for as long as they can. They should get taken out soon, but the pressure keeps coming up towards middle.
I mean, it's at the point where we certainly can't call this series any kind of fluke. I mean, all 3 games have been way too close to say that Panda's not hanging right now, and this might be another opportunity for a dunk. Can they push through the back? It's Karma trying to play a little bit of defense, shuts down 1. This may be the lead. The dunk is going to be going through. 1-point advantage, Panda, as they continue to bring it to Optic in this series. So, you got to answer the question. Is this a bit of an off series from Optic to start the day, or is Panda the real deal?
They're putting a lot of pressure. This is the preferred side for them, pushing up towards this back folding area, and they keep spawning Optic out on that top side of the map, or on the mini-map there. There's not much you can do when you're consistently wrapping back towards spawn. Another dunk going to be coming in just a second. They decide to hold it, though. A smart play, a 6-3 lead for them now. Finally, Formal's able to break out of his base for just a little while, but he's alone.
This could have been a 3-0. Now, I know there's still 2 minutes left, but that game 2 was in the hands of Panda after taking the hard point. But don't put it away for Optic yet. They may be able to climb back here. We're watching Prophet right now set up at top window, trying to make sure there's no mid control currently for this side of Optic. He'll ultimately get cut down. But you've only got, I mean, as slow as it sometimes takes to develop plays here, as you need a couple of rotations of kills a lot of times to get through a dunk, you don't have that many opportunities left with 90 seconds. Yeah, it seems like a lot of time, but with you now, especially when you have possession here and Camo to work with, if they can find 1 or 2 kills in front, this is going to be a guaranteed score. There goes the Camo. Wants to go off the baseball field wall run. He's up over the top. They don't see him. There's the dunk, and that may be the dagger in game 3.
Such a heads-up play from Panda, taking it over to that left side through tracks. Optic had no idea what to do. Kind of can't shoot the guy when you can't see him flying in the air. Great stuff from him. Perfeezy just being the slayer for Panda in this one, almost edging out to 30 kills, 29 and 21 for him, and really has been the reason that they got those 2 dunks.
Yeah, and there's nobody really going off for Optic. And you see Formal, who really kind of carried the load there in the game 1, not having his best game 3, but not that you can really point a finger, at least from a slaying standpoint. You're just kind of getting outplayed in this second half. You didn't put enough points up on your preferred side for Optic Gaming. Panda punishes you. I know some of it done behind the camo, but I mean, the one that impressed me the most might have been the 2 kills they got top middle and the quick hit. So usually you have to kind of clear out everybody, right? That time they didn't. They just brought the pressure in. They're playing aggressive. They're playing like they're not scared, and it has been incredibly impressive. And they're going to have a 2-1 advantage in this series, buddy.
Yeah, the reason it was so quick on that push off of those kills is they take the drone off of middle, they throw it over that ticket over towards that back bowling area. So when you do get killed, the drone's already so far up the map for you. That's why they were able to execute those scores so fast. So great plays from Panda overall. I really thought Optic was going to keep control with that 3-0 lead going into the second half, but Panda, man, basically what I said they needed to do, they did it perfectly. They needed to stabilize that middle map finally, and you saw every time we switched over to Optic in the second half, it looked so frantic. They had 2 people flying around, didn't know who to shoot at, and they take the lead.
Panda fans getting hyped with the actual Panda, as they are feeling very, very good in this one. And again, so important if they can take this series and what they may be able to do to disrupt this Pool B that everybody thought was going to be an easy one for Optic and Splice. Not looking that way right now, but I'll tell you what. We've seen teams, I mean, think about last year in Black Ops 3. The key to victory sort of to beat Optic Gaming, you weren't as scared of their search and destroy, but trying to steal that game 1 Hardpoint, right? We've seen teams steal the game 1 Hardpoint. Very rarely do we see teams take both Hardpoints off of Optic.
Right.
This year, it's so hard to do. I know we had a different format last year, but them losing 1 is rare. You got to think them losing 2 within a series isn't going to happen.
I don't think so, but man, Panda looks damn good. They're shooting well. Perfeezy leading the way in the slaying category, and really fastball with that ERAD, putting so much pressure on and getting those intro kills. He gets up in close quarters. Optic doesn't really have a weapon to combat that style of play, so a lot of pressure very quickly from them, and that's why they're able to get, you know, the better edge of these sort of scrappy gunfights, these situations in these close quarters. Panda's really getting the better of them.
Yeah, and you know, when they were talking when I was talking with Octane and Slack about what made them good in S&D, they said, you know, they play really fast, they run at you, but it works. You know, you can play fast, but if there's the, you know, team movement behind it, it can certainly work. And sometimes we see with Optic Gaming, when teams play against them, maybe that aren't favored. You know, it's something like this, it seems like a lopsided matchup. Teams don't always play their play style. They're scared to play fast and aggressive because they're worried they can't gun with Optic Gaming. That has not been the case in this. They are flying at them and playing with unreal confidence. Take away any of those onliner comments or, you know, their top 8 2Ks, they're getting it done here on LAN on the biggest stage. It's great.
In my opinion, anyone can win these spawn trapping gunfights, right? All you have to do is get the team in that unfavorable situation. Panda was able to do it, and it makes the gunfight so easy. Optic consistently had to make the decision to wrap back to base, OE through barn or tracks. Just very bad decisions for them, regardless of which one they chose. And they just took it to him. Perfeezy looking absolutely dominant here. They finally slowed it down. They got that AR presence towards middle, opened up those lanes towards bowling, and that was it.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, we've been talking about Perfeezy. He certainly looks like a breakout player this event. We sat down with a lot of the pro players to ask them their opinion on that very topic. Let's take a look.
I think the breakout star of this event will have to be somebody from United. The way that they've been playing online recently, and the general consensus of the rest of the pro players is that they are overperforming as of now. So I think the breakout, somebody from United should be the breakout player for this event.
Has to be Gunless. So far, I mean, he's been ripping it online and on LAN in Vegas. I know he had far beyond his teammates' performances, and he stayed consistent so far. So I think this is definitely his game.
I'm really looking for players like on United or E6. E6 has kind of made their name last event. This is their chance to actually break out. They ended up like 7th, 8th last event in Vegas.
If there'd be any player I think would like break out and shock most of the American players, it's probably Dequee from Epsilon. Like obviously he had a good performance at Champs, but like the people still don't really know who he is because obviously it's only one event.
Gunless from United. He's pretty damn good online, so I think that maybe it would carry over to LAN, but some people struggle with that. But I think he had a good event at Vegas.
I'll definitely say the breakout player for this event will be Gunless. With all the slack that they've been getting online as a United or whatever, I think if he's the one that performs this weekend, they have a good shot at actually making an impact how they have online.
You hear a lot of Gunless's name there. He has been a beast so far this weekend, but I didn't hear anyone mention from Panda. That may be changing if they keep playing like this. And that's always the question. I know I've asked you before, but and whenever you see a team up and coming like Panda and you have a team like Optic Gaming, the question is always, is it an off series for Optic, or are they the real deal? And when you have now that we have 3 maps to go off, Panda's looking damn good, man. If they were to take this second Hardpoint, that would impress the hell out of me, because that's kind of the bread and butter for Optic Gaming, right?
100%. Going to be going over to Breakout Hardpoint. I don't think Optic's too great at this map, to be honest. Yes, they've been practicing a lot, but overall, from what I've seen with them, they tend to go down pretty early in this one. So Panda might be able to get the better edge of this one. Again, when we're talking about Hardpoint in general, I brought up a few points on Scorch that they had to hit on in order to win the map. They did it, right? So it's very possible for them to do it again. They take their time, they settle it down, and set up those pinches when they're going over to break. Exactly what you need to do against a team like Optic, but Optic needs more of a team performance. Formal was the only one in that Scorch that was able to do really anything in the slaying category. The other guys need to step it up, and because they've all stepped it up is why they've been so successful so far here at Atlanta.
And this is a rare... I'm just trying to think back in time. So, okay, we know that open bracket teams have come and made a run at first events. Like, that'll happen. Like, I think the E6 at Vegas, or first events in a year going back through titles, because seeding usually kind of makes more sense over the course of a year, right? When you have a larger population of games to kind of work with, or events. But this is now the second event. We are many months into the game. Having a team like this come out of open and take out maybe the fan favorite, I mean, Optic, even with us, maybe FaZe I have is the #1 team right now, but Optic's certainly right up there in the conversation. Can you think back in your career of like times this has happened where, like, that'd be like you, when you guys had your run with Complexity, this is literally, or it's close to it, as a team coming out of open and just hanging with you?
Man, it's been a long while, that's for sure. I mean, I remember several times way back in Black Ops 1, this is 2011, where teams would come through the open, and I think it was Orlando, a team from open actually made it to the final. So it's been a long-ass time.
That's crazy.
I remember
that's crazy to think about.
Right.
Like, in today's day and age, like, imagine a team coming out of open and going the whole way to a final. Like, part of that makes sense to me, again, like at a first event where we don't really know where teams lie. Sometimes players are good at one game, not as good as a second. Same being said for teams. But we've got a little bit more to work with now, especially with all the 2Ks under these teams' belt. And I know they're online matches, but still, it relates to LAN more than it doesn't. This would be one of the more impressive wins I've seen for an open bracket team ever, in my eyes. So this is crazy. I
said it before. E6 did it to Optic. Panda's doing it again, it seems like.
Yeah.
Granted, they didn't get the 3-0. It should have been a 3-0 if they were able to close out that S&D, but...
E6 has become more and more of a household name. I know there's like a little bit of a skip in their resume because they were under 18 and they sort of had a year off last year, and now they're back. But, you know, they built upon that. And I'm curious now if these guys can keep it up, if Panda and these professional, these players are going to become much more of a household name. This is going to be awesome. But we're just waiting for the guys to get the game started here to kick off the game 4, and I see the 1-1 there, guys. I assure you, it is not 1-1. We've got a 2-1 advantage for Panda Gaming. But before we hop into a hard point, let's take a look at this quick breakdown. Oh, well, we are still here. Hardpoint Breakout will be the next map. I thought we were going to Hardpoint Breakdown. We are going to be still hanging out, team, you and I, as we still get shots of the guys, just waiting on them to get this one started. Profizi, I mean, what has been so impressive for you about him in particular?
Really, that Search and Destroy was the most impressive for me. Yes, he was playing very, very good on that uplink, and especially the hardpoint too. But just the way he was able to hit that timing over and over again on that S&D over towards that B hall bomb site, and Optic wasn't able to do anything about it. You can pre-aim it all you want, but if you can't win the gunfight, man, he was just getting the better of it every single time. The man just knows what he's doing, seems very practiced. He's leading his team in the slaying category, and it's really getting them far in this series.
I'm just curious if they can get 2 done is the big question here. Should be hopping into it momentarily, and I don't know, who do you think is going to take these? You think they push it to a game 5? I'd love to see a game 5 for our first series.
I think Breakout is a map that's going to be a little bit slower of a style. Seems like when the games speed up, it favors Panda. They're using it as a machine gun. Optic's not really playing that sort of style. But when everything settles down, slows down, we saw it in the uplink on that first half especially, Optic Gaming seems to be doing better in these slower situations. So, going to be slower. I think Optic's going to take over. Formal's been shooting like an absolute madman this entire tournament. I think he's going to take over again.
Well, they just need to get back to, well, the whole team kind of taking over, right? That was the one thing you saw Formal really leading the way. Needed a little bit of help there in the game one. I know he struggled a bit in the uplink, but now we'll see if the entire team can get it going. I do see the rig draft getting started off to my left, so we should be ready to get the ball rolling here. Now, what do you think this mixes up, though? Let's say Panda is able to close it out, and they do take the series. What are you thinking if you're a Splice player right now? Because there's no way you expect this coming in. You think you basically have the second spot in the bag. You maybe come in today thinking, you know, your opening match isn't that huge of a deal playing the open team. That's completely shifted now.
I'd be a little bit scared, to be honest. Panda coming in, taking out the #1, ranked team right now in the group. Panda should probably take #1 if they beat Optic, right? I would think so.
I mean, they certainly have the ability to. They've played them so tough. And, I mean, Optic, yes, the games with Splice were relatively close, but they won the series 3-0. They won it with relative ease. So you got to think, if Panda can get this done, they certainly are ready to shake things up. You'll see no Synaptic here, as recently, if you haven't been following maybe the Call of Duty World League, it has been removed. So you're going to see a lot more of Centurion, more FTL jumps going to come into the mix. And so far, have you seen, I know we saw the silly FTL jump the other day. Have you seen any crazy ones since you've been casting or on analysis yet this weekend?
It really seems like a lot of players aren't extremely comfortable with the ability yet. They just kind of pop it when they get it to not really set themselves up. I feel like you need to pop that ability after you pick up a kill. Make the second one a little bit more difficult for that player rather than initiating with it, if that makes sense.
No, I gotcha. Okay, well, we are going to be loading in. It is going to be Breakout. This is one of my favorite hard points, certainly in the rotation. It comes down to early rotations, getting set up, and locking things down. We're going to be starting at mid-map, scrappy, similar to what we saw in Scorch. But do you like it now more with the, I know it's been 2 events, but with the hill kind of set up at the top instead of the bottom of that visitor room? I think it plays a lot better.
I think it's way better. It's more of like a contesty style of hill. The bottom one was too enclosed, in my opinion, gives more lines of sights, makes loading more, viable overall as an area to lock down. I think it plays a lot better.
All right, well, off to the races. It is going to be Karma we're going to start off with here. It's game 4, 2-1 advantage for Panda. Optic back against the wall here, and I know you got to think they have this group locked down, but nothing is done yet. If Panda goes perfect in the group, they will take that #1 spot as Karma gets cut down by some patient positioning there from Profizi.
Profizi playing a little bit annoying, as I call it right now, sitting in the corner, gets the better end of Karma in that one. Picks up a second. That ERAD just so darn deadly in those close quarters areas.
It reminds me of Aqua, like back in Advanced Warfare. When I first started to really watch him, he was always in a corner. 2 players would fly by. He'd shoot them both in the back. It's the ones that get you frustrated. They get under your skin as a player, right? Okay, well, Formal now. Set up and loading. Knows he's got a couple in front to deal with. Scump was able to find the first. Trying to locate the second in from behind. He's able to pick it up. So this is very similar to what we saw in the first game. It was a 30 or so to 0 lead for Optic Gaming, but then Profizi and crew continued to climb back and climb back. We'll see if they can do it here, because this is not the start you wanted.
Not at all. This is a lot of points for a first hard point. Luckily, 2 kills going in the favor of Panda in this one. And the second hard point, they need to get the majority of their time. Profizi actually just falls off the wall run as he's trying to pick up that. Teams set up towards cave, and that's why they get taken out.
And this is a map where you can set up at least for some longer range gunfights, and maybe the ERAD won't be as effective. I don't know, because like they kept trying to hit the wall run there. You're not. What are you going to do there? If you have Formal looking over with an MV, Scump with the K-bar, it's not going to be as big. And we know the ERAD was a big player in that game 1. We'll see if maybe they can find some spots to really take advantage of it. But so far, the ARs are reigning supreme as this is just a monster lead for Optic Gaming.
They have Panda spawning out pretty far for the next as well. They decide to go and fight for this scrap. 10 seconds left. Optic does not even want them to get to 15 points. Almost should be able to... Nope, Profizi gets that last one. Optic getting some pretty darn bad spawns over towards this last hard point now. They're going to try and take their time towards around the back. Fastball holding them off for as long as possible, and that's something he did very well on Scorch. Pushing out far, making them spawn out off after all those kills.
Well, Panda starting to show some life in this one as they're going to break the 30-point mark here shortly. 40 seconds left to go in our final hard point in the first rotation. It's Formal looking to break in at long range with the MV4, but that's nice use of cover there from Penby as he's able to counter that back. The fight for Scanners with Scump trying to hold down the backside of Helipad for his team. Is you still got about half of this hard point to work with. Have you let it slip a little bit here, Optic? I feel like you had the chance to kind of go for the throat. Now Panda's kind of inching their way back in.
It's just a good rotation from them overall. Profit picks up 3 in the hill right there. Profizi follows up with a 4th. And right before that play happened, Fastball fell off the map. So I thought it was going to be a little bit scary. Optic was going to storm through the back and get control of it, but Profit has been super clutch to get them back into this one. Finally, 60 points for their name. He actually jukes out that kill cam, I think. That's a really cool play to talk about. You get the other team to call out where you're going and then run back the different direction.
He did, and ends up giving him a kill there with Karma. And, you know, with one more in front, can't win that, but this has been some gutsy stuff from Panda, because some teams in their position, you get down, I can't remember what the last, when they got their first point on the board, 80-0, whatever it was. You might just kind of put your head down, get frustrated, get tilted. You don't have leadership. There's no one there to kind of step it up for you, but they bring themselves back in it, and they're still just in kind of choppy distance. They have a chance to get back in this for sure. So a lot of time, a lot of rotations to work with. And Fastball starting to come alive as he is 8 and 13, looking to pick it up. And look at this. That's almost actually is the exact same stat line for Karma. We saw him 5 and 13 in the game 1 when Optic was struggling a little bit. But it's, I mean, Scump, just what do you do when you have something 18 and 4 for Scumpy?
A great bombardment use from Scump there to clear out that middle hard point. 10 seconds going to be going onto their side right now. The 2 players from Panda trying to hold down the back, but Krim takes out both. When you have a double anchor back there, you have to trade out that kill. Krim, just a great play to take out both.
He gets them. And now we have to go to Scump. It's 18 and 4, and he's got a 2 streak to work with. There's one underneath window and one at bottom visitor. This should be an easy kill for him. Now, the one pushes back. I guess that was going to be picked up by Formal. No, Profizi, sorry. He flanked the whole way around the back trying to get spawns for his team. Now, I saw Mad Cat do something similar with Splice last night against Optic, but he didn't actually fly in and find any kills there. He got the spawns for his team, well, just one, but didn't actually do anything with it. There, Profizi tries to push in and make a play. We'll see if the pinch will be enough, as they haven't been able to, I guess, effectively pinch like they did kind of in that Scorch.
Oh, a huge 3 from Fastball, sliding in with that K-bar. Can he get the 4th? He has his teammates to help, and there we go. Finally, some time going back into Panda's favor. Should get to up around close to 100 points as we rotate over towards this cave side again. And this is where they made a crucial mistake. They staggered super hard. Pemby needs to take his time. See, that's a mistake right there. You're so far away from your teammates. Regardless if you win a gunfight there, what does it do for you? You know you're surrounded. Take your time and let your teammates get to the position that they need to be at.
And now everything kind of gets shut down. You do see the spawn out. That's going to be for Profit. He's going to spawn all the way over by Helipad. So far, this has been a perfect hold for Optic Gaming. I know we're only 15 seconds in, but they haven't allowed the Panda really even get close here to Graveyard. I'm just trying to stare at the minimap and see where the key gunfights are going to go down. Profizi can't win one against Karma. Pemby is able to win on Snow Street here and try to push into Cave. He's going to have another tough one. Gets a couple shots in, but he's got no help here. Is now a teammate going to fly in front? This will open things up for him to get things done with the MV4.
Optic just getting way too much time right now. Now over an 100-point lead for them. Pemby trying to trade as best as he can, but Scump gonna storm in again. The trade's finally going into Panda's favor, but it's only 10 seconds to scrap. Optic not too worried about that one. They just took too long to set up over towards that cave side. They eventually make the right play, but it took 30 seconds to set it up. Slow it down, communicate better. That's why they're down 100 points.
It's far too late, and now Optic looking to close it out, but they're gonna have to get a break here in Commissary. It's gonna be Pemby watching the mid lane towards Scanners with this NV4. You can see on X-Ray several players from Optic trying to wrap around the back. He's going to give that call out to his teammates and check mid there by loading, getting tagged from both sides, but somehow still up. And him just staying alive here, providing a great distraction, so those 2 players couldn't focus on the hard point. They had to deal with Pemby first.
Everything I just explained, Optic doing it absolutely perfectly, taking their time, grouping up, finding that one guy that's strangled, or basically playing by himself out on the map. Optic, an easy break. All it takes is one push from them, and now Panda has to play extremely desperate at this point, flooding up towards the middle of the map. Such easy gunfights. Look at that. They're not even getting shot at this point. Optic should be able to close this out very easily. Another 11 points of scrap going to get them up to about 230, going over towards the central rooftop, and I just don't think there's any chance for Panda anymore.
And this is, you know, kind of like we talked about beforehand. Like, beating Optic in one hard point is hard enough. Beating them in two borders on impossible for most teams, and this one really hasn't been as hotly contested match as we saw in that game 1, so it's looking very much like we'll be seeing a game 5. And just taking a look across the scoreboard, you see pretty much everybody from Optic getting involved now in the slang. I know Karma's struggling a little bit, but considering he was 5 and 13 at one point, he really does come alive. And on the other side, the guy we've talked a lot about, Profizi, he ends up going 10 and 22. He's kind of been their all-star, right?
The thing that broke the game open, in my opinion, is Crim's two-piece over towards that back of the second hard point, where he took out both of the anchor players. Not just one, both of the anchors, spawning out so far, and look at them go now. Crim on a 7 streak, 21 and 15. Multiple players. Karma's about to get 20 as well. The quad 20 bomb about to go in, but I don't think there's enough time. That's the last second there. 250 to 131. Optic absolutely decimating Panda on that one. I really expected it though.
Yeah, again, 2 hard points is going to be so hard to do, and you got to think that's their bread and butter. You're a little bit pissed you lost the game 1. You're not happy with the way this series is going. You poke the bear in a way, and now they've come alive, and that's what you sort of expect there in the hard point. But now that it goes to game 5, and we've touched on the fact that you have a strong search team in Panda, this is anybody's game in the game 5 for me, especially after our game 2 went the whole way, the distance to the round 11.
Definitely, it could be going down to another round 11, to be honest, and I don't know which way to call it, to be honest. I guess I would give the edge to Optic just because that was such a dominating performance on that hard point. You know, that's demoralizing, right? Only 131 points, definitely not what you want to see, especially after how you played that first Scorch if you're Panda. So they just didn't play the fundamentals correctly at all. I was very critical of them on that map. Granted, yes, Optic was playing those situations well, but that was way more Panda being nervous, frantic, not doing fundamentals more than anything.
I mean, exactly what we saw them do on Scorch, though. And really in the uplink, that's what you kept stressing, the fact they were doing the fundamentals, the fact they were being patient, pinching, and all those times you saw them wait for the 4-hit. This time we saw those stragglers, like Pemby a couple times you highlighted, kind of killing off by his own. When you then spawn out, that's the delays kind of your 4-man push, another 10 seconds. And Graveyard was kind of where the dagger was for me, because you almost got a full 60 kind of on that after we saw Panda climb back in. But really, you just can't have a start like you did through Panda. I mean, it was 68
to be fair,
on the board before you got your first point.
Scump got streaks, absolutely dominating off the rip of that one. So great stuff overall. We're going to take a little bit of a look at Scump going off early in this one. The 6-0 start picks up the player on the wall run, and that's number 8 for him. When you start off with Scorchers, Bombardment, the Trinity Rocket, all that stuff, they had a lot of Scarabs as well, so that's very good when you're holding down the initial time of Hill. It's basically a 5th player. You go out and scout information, and it makes the other team slow down. It's just too much for the other team to handle, too much utility, largely due to the hands of Scump and Formal.
Yeah, and had Scump slowed down at some point over that, maybe you give them a chance. But he started out hot, and you saw he was, what, 20 and 4, 20 and 3, but it ended up going 23 and 9 across the game. He never slowed down. From a KD standpoint, he crushed throughout the remainder of that game and just buried Panda. But now it's going to be going, again, to the game 5. I need some kind of prediction out of you, though. You got to take somebody from me.
6-3 Optic. That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
I think Panda's going to start out early. That fast style is going to work out. But Optic is has always been really one of the best teams at adapting on the fly. You can see how much different those 2 hardpoints were in the same series. So I expect them to learn from this series overall. Optic not going to be happy with this series for sure. Yeah. But I think they're going to close out this S&D.
All right. Well, we actually are going to toss it over to the studio. We're going to take a look at the Charlie stream as we have a nail biter for you.
Very much, Maven. As you said, the Charlie stream right now is where the action is at that pool A. It's been so close. Enigma 6 versus Mind Freak. This one couldn't be closer. Currently tied up in the Search and Destroy. Game 5, 4 rounds apiece. Merc, you've been my go-to on this one. Break it down for me.
I mean, basically just throughout the series, E6 controlled game number 1, absolutely destroyed them. All the players on Mind Freak go negative. Game 2, this is what we talked about, Mind Freak, those Australian teams, very good at search and destroy. They win 6-2. Go to game 3 again. E6 all day, they win 10-0. And then they started off so strong in game number 4, but Mindfreak brought it back and takes that game 4, and now we're into a game number 5.
Well, as it stands, 5-4. A round was just won. I believe that is going to be E6 now who have taken the lead in this one. It is crucial. We said Mindfreak, they could come into this one and force a huge, huge upset. I mean, there's a potential for it, but now their backers are against the wall. They did the hard work, right? Mindfreak, this event, throughout the open bracket, their hardpoint has been pretty subpar, let's be honest, but they beat E6. They forced the game 5, search and destroy, their bread and butter. As it stands, it is E6 who currently, I believe, have that lead.
Yeah, and just so far in this game number 5, they've been just trading rounds back and forth. Finally, E6 able to get a round lead, and you can see on your mini-map, both of these teams just moving around the map as a team, trying to use those payload abilities to get an advantage.
Yep, as it stands, a very, very tentative round. I mean, as a professional player, how do you play these rounds?
I mean, the most important thing is you want to utilize these payloads. You know, we've just seen Overdrive being used. You've also got, obviously, like the likes of FTL Jump. It's using them at the key moments. But the thing is, 90 seconds for one round, it is not a long time. There is still 8 players all battling out here. There's only 40 seconds left, Ben.
Time is ticking, as you can tell. E6, of course, they're going to be our yellow squad in this one, and our Australians, Mindfreak, they're going to be our blue. I mean, time is ticking. When did you make the play?
I mean, Mindfreak, you can obviously tell now that their E6 is rotating to that B bomb side, they hit the bomb down, and now this is when you had to decide if you're Mindfreak, and you can see they're setting up a 3 push, and one of them is going to the back. And you can see General here. He has camo, and he actually goes down with a huge play by Shox.
My
Picks up
Lord.
3 of them.
That is going to be all 4 players down shortly. It will, and ladies and gentlemen, this one going to a round 11. Momo, that was a crazy round.
I mean, that's an ace for Shox straight away, but it wasn't just the ace. The fact that he took down, I think it was General who had camo there.
Yep.
That was so important because you could see General was just popping up and down, up and down. He wanted to use that camo as soon as he saw someone, but Shox didn't give him a chance.
Well, the camo didn't get burned though, so they're going to have that for the round 11, and that's what Shox had to use to be able to pick up that ace to begin with. So if you're looking at just the payload advantage, you got to give it to E6, but they still have to make the big play.
Look, I have to ask you, you've been watching this series the whole time. Which way does this go? Does Australia get on the board in pool play?
I don't think so. I think E6 is going to be able to take this. I think General with camo, he's just going to wait. They're going to try and figure out which bomb site, you know, Mindfreak is going to go to, and he's going to make sure that he goes first. And you can see already General's trying to get into a really good position and pop this camo right away, and there he goes.
3 versus 3 situation. The camo has been popped. He forces it. Can he find the second? No, he can't trade it. It's going to be down to Buzzo. Buzzo's clutched before, but he won't be able to do it again. And that will be E6 closing it out once again. I feel every time we go for those live look-ins, Merc, E6 clutch up.
Yeah, absolutely. And you saw what we were talking about. Really, what General does and E6 does is they say, okay, instead of giving them a bomb site, what we're going to do is we're going to go looking for these guys. And if we see them, I'm going to pop camo right away. They're able to get that first blood. General then pops that camo as soon as he gets hit by one of those grenades and picks up an easy kill for him.
Well, that was a live looking at the round 11, but we can set it back to main stage for the game 5, Optic Gaming versus Panda.
Fantastic stuff, gentlemen, and perfect timing. We are just loading into our game here for the game 5, and I actually have to look at it. I don't even want to begin to start guessing, but I know stuff is crazy in that pool A with Infused, Enigma 6, and then who am I missing? Rise Nation as far as they're all basically in a similar spot. I don't know what that changes with Mindfreak not being able to steal the victory, but that pool is absolutely insane. But here we go. Going to kick things off now. Optic Gaming going up against Panda.
On map 5, did not expect it when we looked at this series originally, but Panda playing very well. We're in this first round of retaliation. Optic just slamming over towards this B site. Formal and Scump pick up an early 3 kills. A very quick 1 versus 3 for Perfeezy. If there is one player on this team, he's probably the one that could do it, but about to get pinched, and that's a quick round. Optic Gaming not wasting any time at all over towards B, and just could not do anything against Formal's AR.
Yeah, you know, and we talked a little bit about the fact of, you know, whether Panda's the real deal. Is Optic starting slow? And you got to remember, guys, if you weren't watching earlier today, obviously Panda had to play this morning to get into this match, right? So they've been playing all morning. They're a little bit more warmed up, and it sort of seems like Optic, if you compare the first hard point versus the second, it seems like they're getting a little bit more into this. And that might be a big part of what it was, you know, just getting a couple games under your belt. What's it like? I mean, you were a pro player, just getting a few games in? going up against a team that's been playing for the past few hours?
Depending on your warm-up, it might take a game or two to really get into it completely and feel 100% comfortable. I think it's just a combination, really. Optic is shooting better for sure, but Panda's sort of going away from what worked for them early in the other games.
All right, well, now it is going to be bomb planted. Optic going to have to work on the defuse. They've got the edge. They have a two-man edge now, surely to be 3 here. It's going to be on Profeezi and Prophet. Now just Profeezi again in a 1v3. That's back-to-back rounds where he's going to be relied on to make a hero play. Bomb hasn't been stuck yet. They've got him in bedroom, and that's 2 rounds for Optic Gaming.
Man, Panda needs to do that post-plant positioning just a little bit better. You can't get wiped out that fast. No trades going down. Great plays, a great swarm overall from Optic Gaming. They're just playing extremely confident right now. I think Panda might be able to edge out maybe around 2, possibly 3 in this one, but Optic, if they keep playing like this, you're going to get their payloads much faster. I think it's just going to get out of control very quickly.
Oh, yeah. It's like they're not even paying them respect right now. They're just flying at them, winning those one-on-one gunfights and getting it done very, very easily. Let's see if they can keep it going here as we do hop into round 3. It's going to be Optic back to offense. Remember, it's just a mid-street flood the first time through. What do they opt to go with this time? It looks to be a very similar tactic, team.
Man, with the way the last 2 rounds is doing, I'd do the same thing over and over again until they try and stop it. Seems like Panda is on the back foot for sure in this one. Formal actually has an E-Rat in his hand. That's a bit different. Wouldn't expect him to run something like that, but I guess if you're trying to get into bedroom, that's the way to do it. 3 kills again. Different players this time. Karma and Crim6 picking up the kills. Prophet now stuck in the 1 versus 3. A nice shot over towards Crim, towards that bar side, but man, this round should be over pretty quick as well.
Yeah, and the Prophet's got your only 2 kills. I mean, this is really as ugly as it can be to open up 3 rounds of search and destroy. It's not like you're going down to nail-biting rounds and you feel like you're playing them tough. You feel like you're getting your head bashed in basically at this point. Finds a second there. He's going to have all 3 of their kills now. Needs the rest of his team to step it up. I just wonder if that last Hardpoint kind of threw them off a little bit. They got hit. They got hit hard.
I think it did, and that's really what it looks like. It doesn't seem like they're talking the same way. The energy seems to be gone in the style of play that they're doing. And what was working for them was that sort of crazy style. They just play like freaks, jumping around the map, spinning around in circles and winning those gunfights. Now they're slowing it down and just lining up these easy gunfights for Optic. All 4 players on the team with 3 kills for them. That's just a team performance. They're watching their gaps. They're doing their bread and butter sort of strategies, working out so well for him. Finally, fastball with a kill.
Well, he's able to get on the board. I thought he suspected he had won him from behind. I believe his teammate was able to pick that up, and now as he's going to push through, will get dropped. 2 players left in Crim and Scump here to try and clutch up. Prophet's set up there at top balcony, but not going to matter as Scump is able to find the kill. And you had the early edge, but it may not matter. But with that kill, you do put Crim by himself, looking to clutch a 1v2. Does have an NV4, which is going to be nice for the range of these 2 gunfights, but they know right where he is, and he's in a bit of a trap here.
Putting some shots into Crim right now. He's in a tough situation up towards this top plat. This player's just messing with. All they need to do is get him over to that bomb site. Only 15 seconds or so to work with now. And yeah, there's no chance for Crim in this one. Panda playing this one perfectly. Finally, took them 4 rounds to do it, but should get 1 on this one.
Good patience, good discipline there, just kind of teasing Crim, not allowing him to make a play. It's like they let him put just enough bullets in there that he didn't actually fly at him to try and realize he needed to finish the kill. He thought maybe they'll feed him 1 and then he can take it to the 1v1. Nice job there. Profeezi now closing it out. As we continue on, Panda needs to get a couple more rounds under their belts to make this a contest. I know they got 1 there, but the first 3 rounds were brutal.
This is the defining round for me. Is Panda going to switch up what they're doing on defense or not? Optic's just doing the same sort of strategy over and over again, just taking it to them, flying at them basically, but looks like a lot of aggression coming up towards this middle hallway. Might be to catch some timing on some players, but Formal's all over it. Trade's going down.
Formal does get the first blood, but like you said, answered pretty much immediately. We're watching Prophet with the E-Rat. He's already close to that FTL jump as he was the first one to really get anything going for this side. We'll swap over to Formal Speed, but he's going to get challenged by 1. 2 more come through. They're able to trade it out. Now going to be a 2v2. Karma and Scump going up against Profeezi and Prophet as they're going to have to try and push through this very deadly choke here through the stairwell. He's getting shot through a bike. Scump able to find 1. They see him in the corner. You're not going to find that kill. Good positioning by Scump. And just that's not an easy retake position from the side of Panda.
It's not easy, but they made that very, very easy. One player just runs into a wall. The other one stomps down into Scump's sight. Not the best attempt there.
Scump's like, thank you.
Free 2 kills.
Yep, it absolutely was. And now a 4 one advantage here for Optic Gaming. Panda trying to take this game 5 and get a great foothold in this Pool B. A win here would be absolutely massive. A win for Optic Gaming cements them as the top team in the group.
Looks like the same sort of strategy over towards B. Optic just doing so much better. Fastball just needs to chill over towards that hotel side, getting taken out early again. He's playing way too aggressive. Did not have a good S&D map in map number 2. The guy needs to slow it down and play with his team.
Well, what has been an incredibly entertaining series may prove to be a very anticlimactic game 5 as Karma does it dirty to Pimby. That's a frustrating death there. And now on Profit in the 1 versus 4. He lit that bomb up and did find a kill. Tries to get away with the FTL jump. See if he can make the play. They saw him go into the corner. He is shooting at everything.
That was weird.
Maybe he tried to scare them away with his bullets.
I don't know what they're doing. This is bad.
As far as this game 5 goes, yeah, I don't know if it's just a matter, again, of Optic warming up or just meeting their makers a bit.
They seem tilted, man. That kill that Karma got, he just absolutely shot the floor, the walls, everything but the player. And then that last play right there just seems like they're not feeling too confident, to say the least.
Well, that's a big part of that play style they enjoy, right? That kind of thrives on confidence. When you want to play really fast and fly at people, when you're feeling good, when you're feeling like you're going to take those gunfights, it's easy to do. As soon as you get throttled in a game 4 like they did, maybe it shakes the confidence a little bit. Do not try to push down those stairs against Optic Gaming, because you will catch 3 to 4 nades in your face. They do back them down. Still 4 up for both sides as Krim working himself into the hotel hallway. Checking bedroom as well. Nobody home, and the bomb has been planted now at B. You see that number 5 on your mini-map. That's going to be Fastball all the way to the right. He's one that might be able to come in and make a flank on them, depending on the timing here. Might be able to find a couple. Here's Fastball coming through. Does he get the angle? Didn't see one on his left. We'll find one inside a bedroom, but he gets dropped. And Optic Gaming, a perfect 4-0 in their pool. They struggled a bit early in this series. Props to Panda for playing them very, very tough, and it looks like they are going to be enjoying some tight matches in this group with the likes of Splice. I'm curious to see how that one goes, but ultimately, Optic gets it done. My question to you, Teep. Okay, so if you're Panda and you play them so tough, and you can almost taste victory, right? You have the 2-1 edge. You felt it should be a 3-0 at that point, and then it slips away. What's it like dealing with that as a player?
You got to be mentally tougher, man. Those last 2 games were pathetic, I'll say it. They're not close at all. It was a good series overall, but Optic absolutely took it to them in matches 4 and 5. You could see Optic sort of heat up a bit when it comes to that shooting and stuff like that, but those maps definitely should have been closer for sure, especially that last one. You saw some of those rounds. It just literally looks like not the same team at all. Like, what are they doing?
Feels like the Panda poked the bear.